We play and call it work.
Hey there, Wargamers. Welcome to this week's Sit and Talk featuring myself, Josh, and of course, DJ Misfire himself.
Oh, hi, guys. I have,
Cullen.
Emerged from my basement dwelling to be
you
here.
actually live in the basement, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I do live in a basement and been working from home, obviously, and, it's been nice to get out of my basement. So I'm glad to be here.
So, we're going to jump right into this. I assume if you've ended up here, you're familiar with the Sit and Talk, but this is the weekly show where we all take turns answering whatever viewer-submitted questions there are. Obviously, if you viewers don't submit questions, there is not a show. So thank you to everybody that did leave questions.
I mean, unless they wanted to sit here and just watch us sit quietly for 40 minutes.
There's a couple of them out there, I'm sure. We would be quiet, though.
I know, that's the thing. It would not be quiet. It might have to be muted later in post.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you a funny story after.
Oh, boy.
So keep in mind that next week is going to be Luka. To have him come here and answer your questions, you, of course, must summon him to the video. So you need to leave questions for him on this video. Mm-hmm. And just put Luka, 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 or Mr. The Dice, however you want to address him, just so he knows that, that's a question
You
for
should
him.
definitely, summon him like you're casting a spell.
That's what I imagine. Like it's like they're chanting Luka.
Right.
Like Luka, Luka.
I bring forth the Luka from the depths.
Oh yeah, like actual.
Right.
Yeah, what would be your spell or your way to conjure Luka other than just chanting his name? That's what I want to see. I'll hang out and look for these.
Right. Lukamon, I choose you.
Luka. Well,
That's true.
He just says his name. Luka often just says his name, so he's the closest to being a Pokemon. All right, so let's just jump right into these. So I'm going to be doing all of the questions off of the website itself and YouTube. Cullen will do the Facebook questions, mostly because I don't have a Facebook. I don't know if this is
I literally this is my only purpose for it in the past, year and a half, so.
I feel like because young people don't use it. I feel like I'm at the age where I should have a Facebook.
Right.
Where, it's mostly, just bad selfies of me trying to figure out how to...
The low-angle beer shot is a classic one.
Yeah, I don't have Facebook. I'm not, super anti-Facebook. I just never could be bothered. So anyways.
Don't bother yourself.
I'm not going to now. So we got all sort of MySpace. Jay Mullen. Hey, Josh, hope you're doing well. I am doing relatively well. So, hello, Jay Mullen. I'm enjoying the influx of Horus Heresy content. Question for you, and Cullen if he's present. He is indeed present.
Oh, hi.
If cost, time to paint, etc. wasn't a factor, would be another 30k army you would like to collect and play? And then Justin.
Well, I don't have a single army, but I have explained this to somebody before, but if I did actually spend the time, and maybe if one day they release another Calth-esque box, because it's not, I don't know. But Luna Wolves 100%. We're Luna Wolves. I don't like painting white, but boy, I'd learned because I would really want Loken and such.
No, okay. So would you play it as in would you have a specifically themed list to being
Loyalist?
The loyalist Sons of Horus. That when they said, well, we're gonna go back to being the Luna Wolves.
Yeah.
You would do that? So that specific time period.
Or almost the pre-heresy kind of Luna Wolves.
Which would be nice if you're fighting something other than other Marines. But.
Exactly, okay. Right? Yeah, that's the awkward part, right? But that is the army that I would want because, I want something led by Loken, and I can't wait for them to hopefully release a Torgadon model. That would be...
Yeah. Okay, so let's say, hypothetically, I'm gonna push you in this because I'm curious. What if it was you got to go on and if you actually look on Forge World where they got the headers for all the legions, which one?
It would be
Luna
Death
Wolves
Guard.
Okay, it would be Death Guard.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to build a Sons of Horus list,
okay.
Or I wouldn't build a Sons of Horus army. It would be Death Guard, and then for the weird reason of it would be a Traitor Legion or a Loyalist Legion, but the Luna Wolf side, and if they could release a Torgadon model. Either way, I really do want I plan on some point when I have time to do painting for myself, get the Loken and Abaddon.
It's a very nice model.
Yeah, exactly. Get that, and I would like that, and getting the Garrow and Saltarvitz now that that's out. I'd get these are all plans I may or may not get to, obviously, but I want an Emperor's Children Dreadnought to make it Ancient Rylanor, and do cool my favorite characters from the like the novel series would be just like even as display models would be like goals at some point.
That's a super cool answer. I like that. For me, so currently, for those unfamiliar, I've got my Night Lords and my Custodes. Custodes was the army I really wanted for the longest time, and I got that. I'm in the process of rebuilding my Imperial Fist because I just wasn't happy with where it was.
Yeah, that I feel like that's gone through several kind of things, right?
Well, because originally, like, I got them, and like I wasn't super happy with how they were painted. And one of my buddies, Ian, when he had come to visit, you see him in the videos. He's the mechanical player. He helped me do some paint work on them to get them to a point that I liked. And then there was another guest that came in who had the army that he had gotten secondhand, and he wanted to get rid of it, so I bought it. Didn't quite match. And then I've since had a little bit more added in. The two yellows did not jive with each other. The basing didn't match up nicely. Looking at rebasing either of those sides wasn't going to work. So I'm like, I just decided to basically sell it all off except for the vehicles. Mostly because nobody wanted the vehicles.
Interesting, but...
Well, the people that wanted that would want to take all the infantry, they were the people that I talked to first, and they were like, cool, I just don't want the vehicles.
Okay.
So I just kept them. So it's mostly built now. I've got about 120 infantry built that would need to get painted up, as well as a couple of the mortars. I've already got some vehicles for it and a bunch of the characters. I gotta find somebody to paint it, because again, I have no interest in painting, especially yellow. But if I could just say, like, hey, if I could just, snap my fingers. I actually can't even snap my fingers. I can never make the noise. I never figured out how to do it. Yeah, can't do that. It would probably be a really cool Solar Auxilia army.
Ooh, okay.
The Solar Ox would be fantastic, but there's no way I'm going anywhere near that. Like, I don't know what depths I would have to go to actually convince myself to purchase all of that and want to deal with that much resin.
Like, I mean, obviously, like, that's one of the big things is the amount of resin is terrifying. And I have a fist dreadnought for my Crimson Fist, like the Contemptor, and like I am afraid to build that.
Well, this is all like the little infantry. Right?
And that's the thing, like that's resin at that level, and I'm afraid. I can't even imagine dealing with all those little guns and the little fiddly bits and just breaking it all.
Little men with the long rifles, just no.
Yeah.
It's not. It's really cool, but and it's one of those armies that I think is really nice. I would play the heck out of it, but not doing that.
Yeah, because it had some really, really cool models and some obscure kind of things you don't see anywhere else.
Some really cool vehicles, and just the way that you build that list and you play that list, the tertios and all that, like, it's really, really cool. Think of, okay, so you could build, not quite like it, but you could probably build something to represent the, because you read the Legion book, like the Geno Chiliad or whatever they were.
Yes.
Like, you can build some really cool, not Space Marine
Exactly.
lists.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I didn't even like consider that stuff, but those guys are, yeah, that would be cool. Heck yeah.
So those are those answers. I don't know, like hit list stuff. Like I'm looking at, like the Custodes army is well beyond whatever I had planned to do. So there's still a couple bits and bobs that I always want to add. I mean, the flyers are cool, but yeah, whole army.
Just in the scale of like what is more priority in Hobbyland.
Well, yeah, because the idea is that, like the Night Lords and the Custodes are personal stuff for me. So it's not like the studio's paying for those or paying to get them painted or anything like that. So I try to, but at the same point, the only place I get to use them is on the channel, really. So I'm trying to strike a balance there and expand the armies in ways that I'm interested in doing, but also.
For sure.
But yeah, so this question was just, if you don't got to think about any of that, just.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, especially
regular men.
Painting white. Ugh.
We got Crinkledorf. Hey Josh, would you kindly braid your beard for us right now? Thank you. I don't know how to braid hair. I'm not going to attempt to try to braid hair because I don't know how. I have had it braided before. I don't know if I was ever in any bat reps, but like I've come in with it braided once or twice at least.
Is that like professionally done?
No.
Okay.
No, it was my wife just like, hey, braid my beard.
Yeah, exactly. I guess this is happening now.
Yeah, so the biggest problem with it is that I keep the sides somewhat trimmed, and I didn't let them grow all the way down because of how thick the beard comes in. It's just a little bit too crazy. So like the hair here doesn't pull in to my chin well enough. I think I'd have to let it grow longer. So I can do the split end braid.
Yep.
But the other problem with the braiding in general is that I don't have any good beard beads that are weighted enough to keep it down. Because imagine like how unwieldy thick this beard hair is. And like if you braid it, all of a sudden it makes the hair so much, I guess, stronger that it just like wants to curl in weird ways. Like you need a good amount of weight to actually have
that actually makes
straight
sense, right? Just you have to let gravity work for you as opposed to against you.
I've occasionally thought about ordering stuff off of, I think it's Grimfrost, which has a bunch of Viking-esque type things.
Okay.
And they get some cool, but I don't know. So if you are the kind of fellow that's got a big old beard that you braid, and you got some experience with that, you'll know what I'm talking about with how thick this is. Because I know there's people with thinner beards that they can do it easier. So if you have any experience, sure. I just, I don't feel like spending $120 on beard beads and not getting the right stuff and also being like, I hate this.
And then, that's the big thing, right? Do you even like it? And then learning to have to braid your own beard and the awkward stages of it looking like it before you get it to where you want, right?
Yeah. Well, because I know that I think one of the things is I've seen people do, it's like fishing line. You put one side in your mouth, and then you gather all your beard up and all of that, and then you use that to keep it really tight while you put the bead on.
Okay.
And then once the bead's on, you can pull it out.
Interesting.
And your beard will expand enough to hold the bead in place. If it's not like a full braid, if you're just...
Yeah, okay. Things I never considered before.
It's awful.
If it gets longer than like much, it's off. I can't even stand that. So that would be.
It's the awkward growing stage because now like I would be in the same point. Like I remember growing it out a couple different times, and I think you were around for at least some of them. And there's that awkward stage that it's awful.
Mm-hmm. It's like that post haircut, but like worse.
Well, it's like growing out your hair, right?
Yeah.
Where it doesn't do what you want it to do. Griff Gang, hey Josh, you mentioned previous battle report with the ad back that you play them because no one else will. That's not okay. So that's not entirely true. Well, I guess I'll read the rest of your question. Do you enjoy the Army, and was your favorite unit from the Army, and could you throw in some more of the walker-type vehicles and future bat reps with them? Okay, so I took up AdMech because at the time we had a studio Army, and nobody was playing it, and I'm like, they're cool enough. So I do enjoy the Army.
They were still fairly new at the time, too.
They were still fairly new, yeah.
It was a little bit more pressing, or like more interesting of an army to play.
The walker-type vehicles... So the Sidonian Dragoons, and I can't remember the Iron Strider,
Ballistari,
Ballistari E, Ballistari I, Ballistari, whatever you want to call it. I use them on occasion. I've never super loved them. So I don't know. I might be motivated to play more. Honestly, a lot of the ones we have are kind of beat up, and like I got to take time to fix stuff, and they're not super high on my priority scale of like things that I'm going to tinker with if I got a spare half an hour. My favorite unit by far are the Sulphur Hounds. I think the Sulphur Hounds are just super cool. They're fun to use. They're good-looking models, and they're decent in game, so it checks all the boxes for me.
Yeah, 100%. Like the fact that they're horses that breathe fire, and they have that like the old school like Empire engineer on a mechanical steed kind of vibe.
Yep.
Like love it. They are super cool.
All right, next up we got Big Mikey. Heresy Train hype. Josh and Cullen, we have tons of new releases from kangaroos to vampire counts to sisters, exosuits. What was a hit and miss around the office?
Well, I haven't been around the office, so this will be new to me because I've been obviously watching it, but
I didn't really talk to anybody about any of this stuff.
Okay.
So I don't know if there was like crazy levels of hype, or maybe I just wasn't there for the conversation. Was there anything that you were super excited for?
I am a big fan of the sisters like Dreadnought. Like that is heckin' cool, and I know other people were complaining about or even talking about how it's AK the head being open. That's kind of dumb, but I also understand why they wanted it for the look. And even if I was to get one, I still think if I was to even have like two, I would definitely build one without and one with helmet, because I think the aesthetic works and might not be the most like practical, and again, like the extra arms, it definitely, I don't think it's got the baby carrier of the...
It doesn't. It does look a little bit better than the Grey Knight one. I like the feel of it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. So I like that personally. Anything for you that was like
I was really excited. I love Titanicus. I love where they're going with Titanicus. So you've seen the new Titan?
Oh yeah.
And did you see the scale of how much bigger he is compared to the Warlords?
I didn't actually see like anything. I saw like the silhouette.
Okay, so you know how his head is like fairly sunken, like low down. Mm-hmm. So think of a warlord and like where the tops of the top guns are.
Yep.
That's where like Homeboy's head is.
Jeez.
Like, he's so much bigger.
He's so like over the top. It's amazing.
I think he's going to be. Again, I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on this one. I think he's noticeably larger than an Imperial Knight. So.
Wow, I can't wait to see that then.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. I'll get one immediately just because. So I guess that's the biggest hype. Obviously, Luka's excited for the vampire counts, but we want to see more stuff.
Yeah, that was like, those are beautiful looking models. Like I think, again, I've heard some complaining about the sword and the hair. I don't think that's a problem personally. The bats carrying the hair, that's super cool. True like vampire vibes, love that. The kangaroo things are silly. Like I personally. Not a big fan of that range in general.
Yep, I'm in the same boat. I'm not a big fan of most of the elves.
That's also true. Right? I've never been a big elf person. If anything, it'd be the dark elves because they're the most like evil looking.
See, I like the wood elf look, generally speaking.
Yeah, because it's more traditional, right?
A little bit.
It's
kind
that
of
classic.
It's further away from what I like in other armies for other systems.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, they have like the uniqueness of what they are.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, the Realm Lord stuff it's definitely not for me, but I also think that the kangaroo things are silly.
I didn't love them. I don't hate them. I'm indifferent completely.
I'm more excited to see what people are going to convert them as. And just make weird other things with them and just be like a space marine riding a weird kangaroo thing and just do all that silly stuff. So that's actually what I'm more excited to see it happen with them.
Yeah. See, they're pulling off a lot of cool stuff, so I'm really curious to see, because, I mean, like, when new stuff comes out, like, what are the Guard going to get? Because the Guard haven't had an update.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel like the Guard haven't had anything new in, like, I don't know. I'm going to say 15 years. It hasn't been 15 years. But if you go back 15 years ago, like, the Guard still kind of looks like the Guard. Like, nothing really is that different.
Yeah, no, they've always looked... I don't
know how old those kits are, but they the general Cadian kits and all that, I think they might be like 20 plus years old now.
I like, that's the thing is, I don't think I've ever seen... I don't even know if there's been a Guard release since I've been playing, other than, like, a couple
Maybe
characters.
Like a character here.
Right, like the Primera Psyker, and you get a couple things like that, but, like, an actual kit... It's been...
But even that Primary Psyker, I think, is probably more than 10 years old now.
Okay. Even, like, I guess the new one from, like, Blackstone, right?
Oh, okay,
but, like,
so that one, yeah.
It's technically, right?
It's not even really a Guard... Yeah, exactly. So I'm curious to see what they do with some of those factions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just, like, trying to think of the other new things that came out. There's the Sister stuff. A big fan of Saul Tarvit's coming out. Mm-hmm. Didn't really see that coming.
Gorgeous model, yeah.
And, like... Heck yeah. Yeah, again, I want more of like those, the series, the novel series characters.
Yeah.
Do more of those for sure. Is there anything else like massively? I don't think anything's like outrageously bad either. Again, the Lumina stuff is not my style, but I totally get where other people are into it. So, whatever's your thing, go ahead. But I don't think anything's been like awful.
Yeah.
Nothing screams, why would they have done this?
It's true. All right, next up we got Keith Smith. Totally agree, end command points and strategies. Obviously, that I don't think that was directed at us, but I don't know, I'm kind of over command points too.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, like it's, as much as it is a neat part of the game, it's just... They say that it's less complicated, but it's just got more of those kind of complications to it.
It feels like 90% of the game is... not 90. It feels like half the game is knowing your stratagems and your opponent's stratagems, and the other half is list building.
Yep, exactly.
In practice, that's not what it is, but it feels like it's really went further that way. I was curious, playing some of the older game systems. I played some Fantasy recently and played a bunch of Horus Heresy recently. I'm like, I wonder if I'll be like, oh, I missed the command point rerolls for charges and hits and wounds and saves. And I'm like, no, none of this I missed.
And that's it. Like, it's the fact that you both don't have them, that it's fine, because it's, yeah, you roll bad, but that's how it is, and there's no way to kind of correct it. So, yeah, it might lead to kind of the games ending more abruptly or more kind of one-sided-y kind of things, but I just think that that's just the same. I think that's the same amount in both systems, like, regardless.
Well, yeah, and I just like that, the lore is so baked into the units themselves. That's where you get it from. And then, with the current way they're going with stratagems, like, I feel like 90% of the lore of some of the armies is just like, well, they could do this stratagem.
Exactly, right? And I guess it's kind of neat that that's how they've been able to flavor, like, factions within factions, but...
Well, that's what they've done to make the game a better written, more, tournament-style game. It's good. I never cared about tournament play, so...
Yeah, for the average players, it's definitely like, I would blame 0 people for just being like, I don't play with command points or stratagems, and we just play the game.
Yeah, and see, that's neat, but then, like, now the armies are so generic and bland.
Yeah, that's the thing. I see that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everything's roughly the same.
All right, next we got Amadri. Any 40k Path to Glory campaigns on the horizon? Love to see you guys play together and banter back and forth. Love your work. Best regards, Andrew. Not a Path to Glory, but we got a Crusade coming up.
Ooh.
So keep your eyes peeled for that. There's a Crusade that I think it's a 5-player Crusade.
Dun, dun,
That's
dun.
5, okay. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that in the next little while. Next we got Pickle 0. Hey Jersh, do you have a specific beard care regime, or are you naturally gifted with such epic face fur? Okay, I don't really take good care of it. Like, I used to take better care of it, now I really don't anymore. It just won't stop growing.
Have you noticed a significant difference in when you were doing lots of maintenance versus not? Like, does it get drier? Does it get harder?
It's a little bit drier, and I think maybe a little bit more split ends and all of that. But a lot of the maintenance came from going to the barber on the regular and having it trimmed and reshaped.
Right.
Which can't happen.
Just embrace the fullness it is now.
Right. So I got a decent beard wash that I'll use twice a week on average. Unless I've gotten it all messy because of whatever reason. Beard oil every single day. I blow dry it. It's terrible for it, but I blow dry it every single morning to get it into the shape and get it to sit. Because otherwise, I don't know if you've seen, I don't even know what culture it is properly, but have you ever seen any of the, I want to say it's ancient Babylonian pictures of guys with the big curly beards? Like the wavy curly beards? That's mine. That's what mine does.
I see.
Yeah. Never going into public like that. But yeah, that's what mine does. So honestly, I don't take that good care of it, but it keeps it growing. So I'll figure out something. I'm at the point now where I think when COVID's over, or I guess COVID will never be proper over, but when things go a little bit further back to normal, I'd consider doing something drastic with it. I don't know what that would be.
Interesting.
But just to change it up for a while, because it grows in so fast. I don't care. I wouldn't go clean shaven because I don't know. I look like a big fat baby that hasn't had any sleep. But I would do something different with it.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Do you have any specific regimes for yours?
Wash every once in a while. Again, I used to be
what
better.
do you use to wash it with, though? Do you get a beard wash, or do you?
Yeah, a beard conditioner.
Okay, yeah.
And then I used to I used to beard oil every day. I don't as much anymore. Just because, again, why bother? I don't go out that much.
You live in your basement.
It is, yeah, so I don't know. I guess even before that, I kind of more was forgetting about the daily oiling, but I should probably get back into that. Probably be better for it, less itchy.
That makes sense. Next, we got Donnie777. Hi, Josh. You play a lot of elite armies. If you had to pick a horse army for either 40k and AOS, what would they be? Only asking because I know I'll never see you push around 1,000 models.
Horse?
I assume he went to put Horde. Now, ironically, this is actually the funny talking point, is that I love cavalry armies. Mm-hmm. I love... So as soon as I'm horse army, I'm any horse army I can get my stupid hands on. I'm oh no, he means Horde army. I don't know. I would probably... if I was to be able to, again, snap my fingers, just have an army and play it, I would say Deathcore Krieg.
Yeah,
Deathcore Krieg, which would be not 100% just men, but a lot of the vehicles, but it would be a lot more than I typically bring with my guard list.
Yep.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, those things are beautiful. If I was to even bother getting it, ever looking at any sort of guard, it'd just be those. Because I'm not the biggest fan of the traditional kind of military, just flak armor or whatever.
Yeah, the Acadians, right?
Yeah, but the gas masks and that very brutal, drab kind of feeling is super, super duper cool.
Yeah. So I mean, playing something like that would be fun. As far as like an AOS horde, I don't think there's anything that particularly speaks to me for wanting to play like a horde type army in AOS. There's no factions where I'm like, yeah, I think I'd really want to try that. I just don't like that play style.
It's the painting. It's the painting.
Well, for that, I mean, like I don't paint my own stuff because I don't enjoy it. It's expensive.
Yeah.
Honestly, the whole time I'd be like, oh man, okay, cool. That 40-point squad you just killed cost me $400 to get painted.
That's like...
It's not quite that bad, obviously, but like, I'd be looking at it in terms of... I look at a lot of things in terms of dollars.
Oh, 100... Well, I mean, that's been a nice part about painting Space Marines for me, is like I'm so used to like my fantasy armies of like, I painted up 30 rats. It's not even 100 points.
Well, and then you look at like the uniforms of the so many of the different horde armies. So look at the Empire, the uniforms,
Also
the Imperial Guard. Cadians are kind of boring, whatever. But there's some dress uniform type guys that like really nicely painted guys that are much more complicated than a Space Marine.
100%.
That are worth a quarter or less of the points, and they die super easy.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, there goes all my... It's not even at the point of like, I don't care about points or whatever. It's like time and investment, right?
No. But if they ever came up with like a dedicated cavalry army, they kind of did with Beast Claw Raiders, which is why I gravitated towards them so much.
That's true.
Like any proper cavalry, especially if it's a lot of heavy cavalry, beautiful. I don't have my own ogre stuff, like, and the studio's got enough. But if I was to, I'd said for a while, I would do the ogre army, the Beast Claw Raiders, but do the winged hussars, like the Polish winged hussars.
Okay.
As like the just ultimate heavy shot cavalry. Like I think it'd be super cool looking.
Neat.
But yeah, not gonna happen. We got Jack Unleashed, but instead of an L, it's a 1. I'm glad I figured that out. Hi Josh, I was looking to start playing Custodians in 40k. Do you have any units or models you would suggest for a well-rounded Custodians list? Right, with the Custodians, I don't think you can go wrong with anything. Like they're really decent all around. Obviously, they're going to get a new book before too long, but I don't think it would hurt to get just Custodian Guard units. Sword and Board's really good right now. Spears are good enough. Bikes are really good. I can't think of anything that's bad for Custodians. I would say avoid spending a lot of money on Forge World stuff unless you really like the models and you don't care if the rules end up getting really bad, even though we probably should have the rules for them because the Forge World book is out. We just don't know how it'll interact with the new codex.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So I'd say be careful of that unless you just are like, oh, that's a cool unit. Well, then just get it. Like if you like the look of it, get it because it's still probably going to be good enough. You honestly can't go wrong with anything Custodians. I can't think of like, I don't think Wardens or whatever the elite guys are, I don't think they're really worth it. I don't think you see them used a whole lot. That's about it though.
Not bad, not bad. Yeah, I mean, the benefit of having a codex that it doesn't have very many options, it makes internal balance that much easier.
Right.
Just because it's less stuff to worry about, and especially because not a lot of their guns really fold over to other armies, so you can change them without also impacting 7 other things.
Well, they have things like Hurricane Bolters and like their Mastercrafted Bolters, and that's so yeah, it's you can't go wrong with any of it. I'd say just if you feel like it, just get some.
Gold boys go.
Yeah, don't skew into anything too specific because that's A, it's boring, but B, like if they change the rules and all of a sudden bikes are awful or you're like, they're really not worth it. I don't think that'll happen, but insulate yourself against that. All right, we got Bard at Heart. Hi Josh, firstly, it's Bard at Heart. You struggled with it last time, so I figured I'd explain it. Second, I've never seen you use the Tempestor Prime with Command Rod, Master of Command, Laurels of Command for potential 6 orders across 3 units, wondering why not. I don't really run the Voxcasters, so that means that my order range is very limited. I already am not great with making sure he's in the right spot. So the reason is like, A, it gives me more flexibility in where I put my units to be able to spread the orders out. And like there's better stuff I could take. Like why not just take more guys that can give orders if I want to give that many orders out? Because you could do Command Rod, like without doing stratagems or anything else. Because you've got, I think one of them's a Warlord trait and the other one's a Relic.
Okay.
You can just do the Inspired Tactics with the Command Rod, and Inspired Tactics is a stratagem. That's 3 orders. I'm likely not going to have more than 3 units close by to them.
If you need it, you can get it, but most of the time, it's not worth.
And so you've watched, because you add it, you kind of see some of my stuff. So it's only a 3-inch order range. Like, I'm not going to have that many units close in my Scions, especially.
And then what does a Voxcaster make it?
So the Voxcaster allows you to, if you're within, I think it's if you're within 3 of a unit with a Voxcaster, it increases the range. If the unit you're giving the order to also has a Voxcaster, to 18 inches.
Okay, so even that isn't like ridiculous either.
Yeah, and I mean the Scions, one of the big things is their flexibility and where they can go, the speed of the Tauroxes plus the ability to deep strike. So, yeah, I don't think it's a valuable tactic. It's kind of cool, but I think you're limiting yourself more than you're actually helping yourself.
Yeah, it'd be good to do every now and again for something different, right? Just for the, hey, watch what I can do kind of silly kind of games.
There might be something very specific, but again, I don't think you want to clump up all the signs because they still die super easy.
Yep.
And like I prefer my Warlord trait for the Lions, which I call the Hellfish now, the Flying Hellfish.
Oh yeah.
The Warlord trait is a bubble reroll hit roll of 1s, and then the Relic is a bubble 5-up invul and save.
Yeah.
Which I think benefits the army way more than some extra orders.
Yep. Some that may or may not be useful whenever, right?
Because I'm not entirely sure of a lot of these, but like generally speaking, the order that you want to give out first is reroll hit rolls of 1. Well, I can already bubble that out, and you can't order the vehicles, but the vehicles I bring in this get the benefit from the Warlord trait.
Okay, perfect.
And I don't think you can typically order units more than once.
I see. Yeah.
So,
that would make sense,
it's not
right?
like I've been stacking 3 or 4 orders on one unit. Don't worry, we'll get some for you soon.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all.
I feel bad. I didn't know that they were.
Yeah, no. I don't think it was mentioned.
There is many more.
It's probably not mentioned. Matthew probably wasn't sure if I was coming in or not, which totally makes sense. I've been working from home, so I don't know. It's all good.
We got Straight Jacket. Joshy, Matt said that MiniWarGaming has a rep for getting rules wrong a lot and that he feels it's undeserved. Have you heard of this rep and do you feel it's undeserved? Okay, so yes, I think with the degree that people talk about us getting the rules wrong, the people that really are kind of vicious about how bad we get things wrong tend to not know the rules. So I think in the minds of a lot of the people that are really rabid complainers, I guess, the problem is that we don't play the way that they play because we follow the rules instead of them. Like, there's still going to be mistakes. And I actually talked to a fellow over email. Well, I responded to a guy, he never responded back to me. And talking about, if you guys played less armies and you guys didn't try to mix it up so much, you'd probably get less rules wrong. And I said, yes.
That's 100%.
But it narrows down the audience so much. Like, I'd love to get to the point that, MiniWarGaming has 20 content producers and we can all focus on one army and just, be masters of it. That doesn't work. From a business perspective, that might be kind of cool in the short term. In the long run, would not be sustainable for us. So I think it's, I think the reputation for getting stuff wrong, like, sure, we get stuff wrong. Like, I probably make at least one mistake every single bat rep. I
mean, it's hard not to, even if you say a rule and then like 10 to 15 minutes later, you forget one thing. Like, things like that happen.
It's the human element of anything. So, like, if you want to watch 2 computers play chess, you can do that. You watch a person play chess. People sometimes make tactical errors, let's say, instead of the rules. The rules are kind of different. So, I think it's undeserved what certain people say, because, like, you got some people that hang on to it. It's like, oh, man, you made this mistake like 5 years ago and you really sucked at it. I'm like, that's cool, man. Like, I like watching 40K, but I don't think I've ever watched a game of 40K. And granted, I don't watch the very highest tier tournament players.
Right.
But I've been to more than enough tournaments and watched more than enough games. I've never seen a game that, in standing there in 15, 20 minutes, I don't notice 3 or 4 errors.
Right.
That I'm picking up on, because when you're not the person playing, so I guess I'm speaking mostly to my own self, because I do my best to reply back to comments, and yeah, there's sometimes where I'm like, I totally forgot about this or that. Well, how much it actually affects the game sometimes.
I think a little bit of that too is like, I mean, there's got to be, I'm not sure, it's definitely not a non-zero amount where what they think we're doing wrong is just not what they like to see, or just the builds of the armies aren't great, but it's because we're trying to make different stuff and trying to think outside the box sometimes and not just run the exact same things every time, because we like to have a little bit more variance.
Well, because it's important. Because typically, I mean, like, if you know anything about YouTube, I don't think it's a big secret. You don't make money off YouTube. You know what I mean? It's an advertising platform for whatever your revenue.
If you're a single person who edits your own videos and does everything pretty much all yourself, there's money to be made.
But probably not from YouTube itself.
But that's the thing,
not from ad
right?
revenue.
Being a individual content creator.
Yeah. So, I mean, the vault's important. And typically, no matter where the bat rep is, people watch if one of the factions that they play are interested in is the bat rep.
Yep.
I don't run into many people that are like, I watch 100% of everything.
Yeah. Oh, no. I mean, it's maybe for some of the channels where they do a little less, maybe it's easier. Something like the Play on Tabletop guys who do one a month. Oh, for sure. And especially if they're in 30 minutes where they make it a little bit more digestible. That kind of stuff is a lot easier to watch every game of, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who still haven't even seen all 12 of those videos they released last year or whenever.
Yeah, however many they're putting out. And I look at it, and so I because this conversation I had with this fella, like, I could play nothing but Custodes for a while, and I would be a better tactical player and probably make less rules and tactical errors, but I would lose all the Scion guys. I'd lose the guys that, you know, like the Night Lords. I'd lose the people that watch the AdMech stuff. I'd lose the people that watch the Night stuff. It just doesn't make sense. So I think it's undeserved. Because I've also, like, I remember having multiple people come in when we had guests coming into film. And I was usually pretty conversational with everybody, you know, had a good rapport going on. And I had a couple that would kind of tease me about it. And then, like, 100% of the time that I filmed bat reps with them, like, they'd make a ton of errors. I'm like, off camera saying, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. It just happens. Like, it's just
it's
until you record and watch yourself playing stuff, you don't realize.
And even it's a whole different experience, and people are people, man. And not to mention that you gotta like playing different things, because you gotta make it fun for yourself too. If you played Custodes for 4 months, after that 4 months, you'd probably be like, I'm gonna shelf these guys for a long time now.
I might not. I think Luka and I are both in the the mindset that, like, if Luka had to play nothing but Necrons, like, he'd probably be happy. Like, with the right faction, like, if I played nothing but Custodes, I'd probably be okay. I'd want to play some of the other stuff because I own it, but I probably wouldn't bother owning stuff if I was only playing one thing.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm very creature comfort. Like, this is fine. Keep it the same. If I was always playing against the same, like, if I always had the same Custodes against the same Luka Necrons, that would get boring after a while.
Yep, right, yeah.
So.
And I guess I come from a little bit more like the painting side, so I know that I couldn't paint the same thing for that extended period of time, because I'd always liked to be painting, so that's the other, like, I would want to make other armies just because I'd get bored of painting blue or whatever.
Alrighty, next up we got Ludo. Hello, love your reps with your Tempestus. Surprising enjoyment. Any suggestions on how to build up for them if I wanted to buy and play them without spending more than a ton out of the gate? I could spend 100 or so a month to build up. Thanks. Okay, so with Scions, I'm no expert. Honestly, the reason I play Scions is because I really like those models that I had, and that's the only reason. So I would suggest, if you are playing somewhere that is fine with you not using official GW models, so not at a Games Workshop store, you know, and if your local game store, if you're supporting them, because I'm always big on support your local game store, so if you're supporting them through enough means that you're comfortable bringing in stuff that you bought online, I would honestly do the same thing that I did. My Scion models that I use, those are Dreamforge. Dreamforge is no longer producing their own stuff as far as I know. I believe it is Wargames Atlantic that are producing the Eisenkern, which is the models I have. So go ahead and look at those Eisenkern. And I'm actually, you know what? Let's just do it right now. Wargames Atlantic.
Computers
Doing computer stuff. And they've got a couple different, you know, guys that would work for guard armies. But I specifically like my Eisenkern. So you can get a box, and I don't know what the pricing is on this right now. I want to say this is probably in US dollars.
most likely.
So you can get a box. A box of them is $35. But
many?
that has 20 dudes.
Ooh, there you go.
Like, it's so easy. And like, okay, so granted, I had the Dreamforge produce ones, but I can only assume that the Wargames Atlantic are just as nice, if not nicer. Plus, I know there's more options in this box because this is kind of a mix of what there was previously.
I mean, I would assume they're the same
And like,
molds,
they
right?
got multi-buy deals. So if you buy 3 boxes, you get it's $95.
Oh, wow.
If you buy 10 boxes, it's $265. Like, you're absolutely laughing.
There's your like first 3 months, and you've got how many?
If you're buying 10 boxes, you get 200. Like, that's more than I have. Like, you're absolutely laughing. So I mean, I would go down that route. And the other thing is, I'm gonna double check this before I go ahead and embarrass myself. Let's check this here. Cullen, do an entertaining little dance for the folks.
I'm good.
Well, do something entertaining. I didn't think you'd actually have to dance.
I don't know. I'll just talk about how I apologize if I'm low energy now. After I sat down, I'm kind of tired now. I've been here since like 6 a.m.
Okay, so Wargames Atlantic is one of the companies, and I was 90% sure, that have partnered with MiniWarGaming. So if you're a Silver Vault member, you get a discount code through them. And so looking at this one, for Wargames Atlantic, if you are a Silver Vault member, you get 10% off an order on their site and free worldwide shipping when you spend over $50.
Heck yeah.
Like, it's so... Go check them out. They're fantastic. We have so many good companies in there, but like, cool. You can get the whole freaking army pretty cheap and easy.
Like the free shipping aspect for only having to spend around $50 is like, that's pretty great. I know that's a big aspect,
free
especially
worldwide
that's
shipping.
the thing, worldwide. And let's be honest, we're buying miniatures. It's not hard to spend $50.
Like, and I've built a lot of different companies' models over the years. I had more fun because I enjoy building. I had more fun building these than I have building any current Games Workshop, like newer Games Workshop kits.
Okay.
It's high quality plastic. It's good stuff. It's really nice. Because I think I watched I watched the original designer talking about it, and he was like, these are like sci-fi, but he approached it, I believe, in the design of these in the way that they do the historical miniatures of being very accurate and being able to, like, these aren't just like cool wargaming. Like, this is like, if you want to do dioramas, like, there's so many extra little bits that you can put on the guys or have on their bases or whatever else. Like, this is designed, like, if you were buying these strictly for dioramas, it would be everything you need.
Fantastic.
Like,
I mean, I've seen the sprues. Like, they look a little different from like a G-Dub sprue, and like
the Wargames Atlantic ones are even better than the Dreamforge ones.
Are they the same molds, or are
they? It looks like what it is that they didn't use the exact same mold, I assume, and it's just because Dreamforge came out with stuff over an expanded period, and like some of my stuff has weapons mixed from different kits of theirs.
Okay.
I think there's more weapon options than just the basic rifle in this.
Dang.
Check it out. Well, if you want to email me, josh@miniwargaming.com. I do my best to reply back to people. So every once in a while, emails slip through the cracks, but honestly, that's your starting point, and you can get a whole army super easy.
And any suggestions if he's a Games Workshop player, so that kind of cuts out those options.
And you got to do like Games Workshop. Scions?
Like what's the start collecting? It's obviously
it's not great.
It's like 120 bucks in Canadian.
And a commissar.
Command squad's 5.
Yeah, and I think they only give you a squad of 5 in there, so I think you get like 10 dudes.
You don't even get like
and a Torox and then a commissar. Like,
okay, I was gonna be like, at least if you buy one of those a month, but like that is
and
no.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love Games Workshop and I'm a fanboy. The Wargames Atlantic models look way better. I said it. They're way better. They're just so much nicer. They're so much cooler. So much, and they fit the 40K aesthetic so well.
And I mean, like that's a single company. Let alone if you're looking for decently armored military type, there's a bunch of other companies that make very similar products too.
Right.
That's gonna have a high percentage of like the selection of miniatures because it's people. You're not looking for a specific alien race or something like that.
Exactly. It's fairly generic. And then, like, obviously if you're a fan of Killzone or Jinro, like, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you've never watched even, well, like the whole anime for Jinro, because I'm not an anime guy, it's kind of depressing. But if you want to watch just the battle scene, it's a short little battle scene, and see how I envision my guys moving and fighting. Okay. Bingo bango. You'll probably actually spend a lot of money at Wargames Atlantic right after watching that.
Just one of those things that gets you nice and fired up.
Oh, it's so cool.
But even that, it's nice to have the projects that have that kind of external motivation that you can fire yourself up when sometimes you feel kind of meh on it.
I love my Scions. I don't know why I love them. Well, I know why I love them, but I'm just amazed that I'm so happy I got them.
Good. No, I know that was kind of like you had like 10 stormtroopers for forever, or like you only had 20.
I had them for a bit because I was able to I was able to find. I got them cheap from somewhere ages ago. I can't remember where.
Okay.
I think I found them at a convention or something.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and I had like 15 of them.
Right.
And then when it came down to it, I ended up, there was a fella whose name has escaped me, but I had put it out like, hey, if you have this old Dreamforge stuff, let me know, because this is before War Games Atlantic could pick them up.
Exactly, right.
And I purchased a whole ton of stuff off him.
I remember that, where you're like, I only want like a few, but he's got a lot. So do I do
Well,
it?
I didn't want to, do the nickel and dime. Like, well, I kind of want this, and then I'm like, I'll just take it all, and it was a very reasonable, fair price.
Exactly, right? Yeah, that's the worst when someone's like, this is all I have, and you're like, I realistically only want 3 things, but I don't want to start getting into that whole conversation, because I get it being a person trying to sell stuff that, like, that's not what you want to hear.
Yeah, you want to sell the whole lot. All right, next up, we got Mech Raven. Josh, our bearded maestro. Last Sit and Talk Matthew was asked about the identity of the Emperor throughout history, and that reminded me of a conversation I once had with a friend. So now I ask you, what are the chances that the Hyborian age, a certain Cimmerian, was one of the Emperor's past lives? Yes, the Emperor Conan the Barbarian.
Who are we saying he is?
The Emperor as Conan the Barbarian.
Oh.
Okay, do you know the lore with the Emperor, the idea that
Yep.
he's been guiding me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
So he's just suggesting, could he be Conan?
When
I don't see why he wouldn't be
was
Conan.
was like a Conan, is that based on like a real age, to be honest?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
I was going to be...
No.
Okay. I mean, like, but he did like... No, because...
Well, I guess...
He came out in Techno-Barbarian age, right? That's when he fully...
that's when
came
he's
out,
like...
or was that before?
That's when he's like, yo, I'm me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing. I don't know, like, who would be some cool people? Like...
I've always seen the Emperor as because for me, Conan was the focus of what was going on, and the ancient Emperor, I think he was my understanding, he was fine kind of being the guy next to the famous people.
Yep.
So I don't think he'd be Conan, but he'd be somebody there. I don't know who though. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've watched Conan.
It's bad that I actually haven't seen any Conan.
Wait, I thought you were a movie guy.
Yeah, but like...
It's Conan the Barbarian. You haven't seen... Oh, jeez. You gotta watch it, man. It's still good.
I don't know. Like, I just have so many movies to watch again. It's just like...
watch big oiled up Arnold in his prime?
Not especially. I don't know.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. Like, there's... I don't know. You would think I would, because I really like fantasy stuff.
You don't even know what's best in life.
I can't even argue with that.
You don't even know the reference, do you?
No. Is that
Really?
from Conan?
Oh! I'm so upset.
What is it?
No. I'm making you watch the scene. This is so this is a bigger sticking, because I'm not even that big of a Conan fan, but like, I don't know what's wrong with you. This is bigger than the Beastmaster thing with Steve.
All right, maybe there's some of it that's like I relate the two together, only because Steve just incessantly insists I watch Beastmaster, and like that's...
The thing is that, like, I don't know, Steve loves Beastmaster more than I can explain. So
is anyone out there else just like the biggest Beastmaster fan? If so, email Steve. Tell him.
Like he'll sit and talk, like just talk about Beastmaster, and like keep him talking about Beastmaster because he loves it.
Like I've never seen it once, but I know that he has 2 ferrets named Toto and Poto, because how often Steve mentions it.
We got Jordan Young 91. I've definitely watched a lot more MiniWarGaming content since COVID and had subscribed to it since Work It's Load. Now no longer a Vault member, but if more options do become available for membership pricing, I'll likely be back with it. Keep up the great content. Yeah, I mean, like, we're always looking for, because again, it's the Vault that keeps us going here, because that's, the revenue stream. Yeah, I think Matt's working on some stuff right now, is all that I can really... Matt and Dave are working on making this make the most sense.
Yeah, obviously, like anything we could add, what if it's feasible and makes sense. We're always trying to find new ways to bring you guys better and more things.
Yeah, just the content that you want, that we also, enjoy producing.
Oh, well, yeah, that helps.
Okay, we got JW Doom. Hey, Josharoo and Culls. I've been watching MiniWarGaming since mid-7th edition. With the addition since then, plus the Steve and Luka throwback games, it seems to me Games Workshop kind of sucks at writing rule sets. It feels like you guys are always waiting for FAQs to fix mechanical screw-ups and lousy writing, plus silly things like rolling fistfuls of dice for not much effect, and lately gimmicks like capping damage inflicted on supposedly superpowered models. Am I wrong about that? I haven't played a ton of war games. Maybe they're all bad, except Star Grunt. Hint, hint. Thanks for rocking the Horus Heresy lately. I'm totally on Matt's command point. Hate train. Okay. I think that Games Workshop is pretty good at writing rule sets.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that where this falls apart is the way that they release new stuff for that. Because it's the codex creep, and everybody knows what the codex creep, and I'm not going to get too deep into it. I don't think that's necessarily bad. I'm not going to suggest that Games Workshop does that on purpose, but it's good for business.
I was going to say, you could see how, as business, you need to sell stuff so you can keep making more stuff. So I 100% understand why they do what they do, and even if it's unintentional, which I find it a little hard to believe, but hey, like, I don't know. I do think that a little bit of this is like, when you start to think about the older editions and actually what was wrong with them, you start to go like, oh, I think most people somewhat have an aspect of rose-colored glasses when you look back.
Yep.
Because you enjoyed it at the time, totally. So of course, but when you go back, maybe some things aren't. It's almost in the same way of like when we tried 6th edition fantasy. We're like, oh, Steve remembered it being so well. It was one, and you go back and you're like, wait, why? I understand all the things they did differently. Like I understand why it's come this way. So it's almost nice to do that in a sense of like, and I mean, hey, if you go back and you like it, then why don't you just play with that with your friends if you can convince them.
I don't think he's suggesting that previous editions were better. I think he said looking back, they've always sucked. I think it's what this guy's getting at. Which, I don't know. I think their rule sets are fine. It's honestly the codexes, and they just have a habit of having their codexes just be plagued with issues of codex creep. But there's no way around that.
I would also...
That's just how they run their business.
Yeah, I would argue that a lot of games that are reaching their 20th, 30th year, like, you experience this problem.
Yeah.
And it's just like working your way through it and finding ways to deal with those kind of issues. And I mean, you can see it in like games of like D&D was in a really rough spot before 5th edition even came out. That's like made a big difference in the actual playing of it. But Magic the Gathering is experiencing like a couple years of like volatility. And I think it's just like the games that we obviously grew up with are getting old, and we're starting to see the results of an old game.
Imagine if, so take Magic the Gathering. Imagine instead of 5 colors, there was 30.
Yeah.
And they came out with, okay, this is blue this month. All the blue cards coming out right now. Mm-hmm. And then next month is all the red. Like, it's just...
Oh, 100%. And like every game has got its thing, but again, I'll relate it back to Magic in a way of like, but then we think about it today and you're like, why was mana burn ever a thing? Because that's just weird. And I think if you, taking a person who's only played like 8th or 9th edition and say like, this is what 7th was like, you're like, oh, it also had problems. They were just in different aspects, and like everything's gonna have its issue, but I don't think Games Workshop I think they're good at writing rules, and like, obviously, the FAQs are an issue, but it's also like really good in a way because then things aren't broken for 2 years.
Right. So I mean, like, it's nice that they're constantly updating because they need to. They used to be bad for it, and so Games Workshop is very good at writing rule sets that are more than good enough to keep people buying and playing the game.
Yep. And I mean, like, as a company, isn't that what you want? Don't make anybody too angry and make as many people happy as you can.
100%, but you gotta keep them coming back. Next we got Fall Up 82. Josh, more heresy. Also gonna have some sides of Alpha Legion and World Leaders, please. Love me some Emperor's Children. Of course, Sev's Spooky Night Lords. Please field some Kentekar ASAP. Thank you kindly. Well, the Kentekar were like sold out pretty much right away.
Those are the new Night Lord Terminators? Yeah, I imagine that those are...
Honestly, the Custodies are getting an expansion right now more than anything else. And the Kentekar, yeah, but I've also got Fists I gotta get figured out. I'll get them before too long, but I am not going to go into the rat race of trying to fight to get them right now.
Yeah, no, why
When they
bother?
become
Like,
readily available, cool. I'm pretty okay. So Dave has taken an interest in the Heresy again. So we'll see how long that lasts. But he's in the. We've got an Alpha Legion army here.
Yeah,
it's not
we got
the old,
Alpha Legion.
It's not the old one that Quirk used to play. Like it's a new cool.
oh no, it's very
Actually
nice.
looks really nice. I don't want to start playing it, but I might. I'm gonna get Dave to start playing it, and then he's looking at getting World Leaders too.
Yeah, because we currently don't have a World Leaders army, so it's kind of tough to show you that if we don't have it. So
We're having fun. I think that at least for the short term, you're gonna see Horus Heresy. I'm fairly confident saying you're probably gonna see it on a semi-regular basis
like going forward.
going forward for the next foreseeable future, unless we've got to change for whatever reason. I love it. It's my favorite game system, and I acknowledge all of its flaws.
Right.
But I accept and love them. I don't care. It's Steve with fantasy.
Yep. No, 100%. I love fantasy too. And yeah, you play it after playing some 9th edition, and you're like, boy, this is a broken game.
Convoluted mess, but that's why I
But
like it.
I keep going back. Why? Who knows?
All right, next we got Sultai Till I Die. Josh, for your scions, what models are those? We covered that. But again, if you only are listening to me answer your own question, they're Dreamforge Eisenkern, but now you want to go to Wargames Atlantic. And if you're going to go to Wargames Atlantic, you probably want to be a Silver Vault member and take advantage of that and get a super cool, fun army.
Also,
Not a lot of money.
Also, they have a bunch of other really cool models that are
They
all...
actually, they got the best hobbits I've seen.
Yeah.
The best halfling. Oh, they got so much cool stuff.
Yeah,
I
no,
really
like
them.
that website, you could go down a rabbit hole. They got some beautiful Tau stuff, like some alternate Tetra kind of...
No, you're thinking of a different company.
Oh, am I?
You're thinking of Wargame exclusive. This is Wargames Atlantic.
There's so many good companies.
I don't know if we got to deal with Wargames exclusive, but we
My
might.
bad.
There's okay, so even if you're not a Silver Vault member, you can go and click on the little Vault tab, and you can see the discounts, where you would get discounts to and what they are. You just don't get to see the actual coupon code. There's like 41 companies or something dumb. And honestly, the funny thing is that like Dave was coming to us to say, hey, what companies should I get in touch with? So all the stuff that you see, like if you love the same stuff that we love, pretty much every company I've ever talked about is in there right now.
Yeah, no, like that's where he got a lot of it kind of slowed down a little bit, the adding of stuff, but then
Because there's still, how many companies make this stuff?
Right, and then, but recently Dave did a big push and reaching out to some people, and again, reaching out to us and seeing what we would like in there, and us being up our own levels of hobby, or hopefully that extends to you guys too.
Next we got Boomer73. Hi Josh and DJ Misfire. I love that stuck. I think I came up with that randomly when we were doing a sit and talk and you were sitting at the computer.
I think that was from the Sit and Talk Live, and I don't mind it, to be honest.
I was thinking about it the other day and I realized like how much of the chirping that happens, like Steve making fun of Steve for his birthday, that came from me. like think of anything we do to frustrate and annoy each other, and I guess unironically most of it stems from a thing I did.
Classic.
I'm awful. Who, if anyone from MiniWarGaming, is going with Dave to the No Retreat event in May, subject to COVID? Will Dave be the sole flag bearer for MiniWarGaming? We haven't even talked about it yet. That's the one happening. I think it's like happening out in Spain.
Yeah, no, it's Gibraltar, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I
know it's being organized by
I was never good in geometry.
I'm pretty sure the channel that is organizing it, or at least like the flagship guys, are from Gibraltar, which is like a territory of the United Kingdom, and I believe is off the coast of Spain, but it could be near...
It's British overseas territory, I think. Or maybe thinking of the wrong place. I got no idea. We haven't talked about it as a company, though.
I've been working from home, but I remember I literally saw our logo on a video from Chapter Master Valdrak, and I was like, what is this?
Okay. Next up, we got Stormbolter, who's my dude. Hi, Josh. Thanks for all the great bat reps. As a guard player, what model do you think is underused by most players that deserves more love? Personally, the Hydra, but I'm interested in your take. Also, what models do you miss in 40K? Do you know when models just stop being made and you can't get them anymore? And is there one you wish Games Workshop would start making again? Keep up the great work. Okay, so, over the years, there's so many great ones. all of the old guard models I've wanted to get a hold of, I've been able to get a hold of.
Okay.
There's still more that'd be cool to have, but I wouldn't do anything with them. For me, I really want G-Dub to start making the other regiments again.
Yes.
That being said, there's companies like Victoria Miniatures, there's companies like Anvil Industry that, again, I give G-Dub all the credit in the world, amazing team. They got some stiff competition to go against because Victoria Miniatures and Anvil, I bought a bunch of their stuff, and even if Games Workshop I think Games Workshop can make equally nice models probably. I don't know if it'd be better. So I've said this before, I wouldn't want to be the guy in charge of being like, all right, you're making all the new guard regiments. Go try to put Victoria Miniatures out of business. Nope. You
have that interesting aspect.
Not that Games Workshop would try to put it, you know what I mean?
No.
You got to compete with this.
That's the thing, right? You can, because of the more niche kind of things, you can get people who specialize in something. Where G-Dub always has to, they have such a wide net that they always have to be kind of doing everything, right? I'm not even sure how they work and sculptors in that level, whether it's all freelance or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't know. So who knows how they do it, to be honest.
I got no idea. As far as underutilized stuff, that's tough. I'd say Hydras are probably up there.
Which one's the Hydra?
That's the anti-aircraft, the autocannon.
Oh, okay. Yep.
That deserves more love. I don't know. See, that's tough. Because, I've got pretty basic guard stuff. For a while, I think generally now people understand how good the Hellhammer is, but for a while it was the Hellhammer, and we're like, why is everybody arguing this isn't the best one? It's so, in my mind, so easily this is the best. Mm-hmm. And to reference that, because I like to take every chance, people used to argue with me that the Hellhammer's 36-inch range meant that it was no good, and that I should take the Shadow Sword with its 72-inch range. I said, that's cool. We play on a table that's 6x4.
Literally.
The tank moves 10 and then shoots. It's also a huge footprint.
Yeah, it's massive.
You can hit whatever you want turn one. It doesn't matter.
Right.
In almost every situation. Except for if the opponent deploys way at the far back or some weird situations. But then you have control of the entire board. And you just, cool. There's going to be something that's in range of it. It's going to murder it. And you just use your basilisks to kill the thing hiding. I don't know. I don't really follow the meta enough to know what's underutilized. I think they're fantastic, though.
I don't think I know that entire range enough, because I don't.
Because there's probably I'm gonna go upstairs and look at a guard codex and be like, oh yeah, I forgot all about these models.
That's the thing. If literally we had a codex in front of us, we could tell you what things we don't see often, but.
Yeah, that's a tough question. I don't really actually know. I think the guard in general just need all the love because they're the best.
I would argue they're not the best, but I do think that they need love.
They're so cool.
They are
so cool. I love them.
I like them more after reading some books for sure.
All right, next we got Miso. We're gonna try to get through these faster because apparently we got a lot of questions.
Oh boy, why did we ask Facebook for more?
Yeah. Well, it was to make sure that you.
Yeah, I know.
Because actually, get ready. We're gonna make you do some soon.
Sure.
Okay, so Miso. Not much coverage on Underworlds recently, any particular reason. Videos seem popular. They weren't as popular as anything else we were doing, and nobody here is a big player for Underworld, so we would probably stumble through getting all of the rules mistakes and tactical mistakes. So.
And again, I think that's one that there's lots of FAQs and I believe stuff that changes regularly, which is great for the health of the game, but doesn't make it great for making videos that then go out of date quickly.
Right. Well, I'd also have to put I'd have to give schedule time for people to learn how to play the game and to keep up with the game. We all kind of naturally keep up the other games already, so.
Yeah, and I really think it's a neat hybrid. I love card games, so the fact it's a card miniature game, that's super neat. But when a lot of the issues when playing these full-scale games is having access to the tables and the terrain and all that, but we already have all that, so that problem isn't really a factor. It's just really the time.
Exactly. Okay, I'm going to bomb through these real quick. Nova Phoenix, Josh, 20-year-old Dark Angels player. How can G-Dub balance Inner Circle? I want Deathwing to remain super elite, but making it into the stalwart successor trait seems lame. My opinion for the supplement drops. I don't know. We're too close to when the supplement's going to drop. I have no opinions. And I don't know, like, I'm the worst. I don't know anything about Space Marines, even though I'm kind of a Space Marine player. It's just not much of a good one. I don't really know what the best way to do it is. My brain is not geared for 9th edition. Corhan, any chance you guys would do a 4th season of Gorka Morka? That's the first season that drew them to the channel. Love to see more of that. There's always the chance, but probably not anytime soon because we're working on a ton of other stuff right now. Cullen, take over for a while.
Okay. So we're going to go from Facebook. We got 14 comments on here. I don't know if that counts like the answered comments, but Joe... I'm sorry, I'm dyslexic, so we're just gonna get that over with right now.
Hey, Joe.
We're just sorry. Bernazaski. Has anyone thought about switching to a Xenos army that isn't seen much Tower Eldar, even though they are in rough spots?
Okay. As far as I know right now, nobody's just kind of interested in them. It's not because they're in a rough spot. I didn't realize that they were in rough spots if they are.
Tau's not great, and I have entire intentions to paint up an actual Farside army eventually, but that's like my own personal stuff, and like right? I barely get time to play because I'm editing, so that would be like I think the only chance. And again, I think Eldar, the problem is like the models are just old. When the troops are really old, like what's the inspiration to go and want to do it? Is like. I'm sure, like, once they get new models, I'm pretty sure Steve would go right into it. But when it's like someone wanting to pick up a new army or build a new army, the troops are so old.
I've got a Xenos army on the go right now, but it's one where the intention was never for it to be a work kind of army. Mm-hmm. It's mostly built, but it's not like a full 2,000 points. It's probably only about 1,000 points. And the idea was that when my wife and I have, days off together, we can kind of, enjoy the hobby a bit. Mm-hmm. Except for we don't get days off together.
Fantastic, right?
It's fizzled. It's still there. I got to figure out what we're going to do with it, what makes sense. And then Steve, I don't think he has much interest in the Eldar right now.
Yeah, no, and I know that Steve is very much a model-based kind of person. Yeah. And I think, again, if you got new stuff, but again, a lot of us have a bunch of projects that we have like in the plans and in the works and want to get done. So it's like just another thing that adds to the queue. And I know Matt at one point was thinking about playing Tau, but I don't know if that's actually panned out into anything.
He's been talking about it, but he still keeps finding Tyranid and Genestealer Cult stuff he wants to try. So like he hasn't gotten bored enough of them to try it yet.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. People like their stuff, and if you only get less opportunities to play it because you got other games to do as well. There you go, right?
Yeah.
Chris Coles, with the new edition, will we ever see some more Blood Bowl love? Well.
Okay, the thing about Blood Bowl is that there's one person here who's good at Blood Bowl, and it's Luka. And then you've got other people like myself, Steve, and Dave that all have fun playing Blood Bowl. I don't know where you are with Blood Bowl.
I've never played it. I would enjoy playing it, but it's just like, again, it's that classic thing of like, I like painting my own stuff, and I already got too much plastic, and I do actually have an old, not like the first edition Skaven team, but an old metal Skaven team that, like, if I were to paint up Blood Bowl, I would do that, but time.
I can't speak to the skill level of either Dave or Steve because I don't really remember that well. I know that when I play Blood Bowl, it's like watching the little tykes, like watching Timbit soccer.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, it's cute and adorable, but it's just watching me chase the ball around, not really know what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, and that's it. Like, if I was to play, like, I'd just be like, I don't know what I'm doing, but, like, I move the player and the rat throws the ball.
I realize more work. I got players just standing there because I do the order of operations bat, so they literally just kind of stand in the middle of the field not doing anything. Like, it's actually like watching kids play soccer.
Like, I'm over here, coach.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
But here I am.
Yeah, like, literally it's the kid off chasing butterflies, or, you know what I mean? Playing. Like, it's bad. And then, Matt physically cannot play Blood Bowl.
I don't think he's allowed to anymore.
I think actually, yeah, I think the authorities have had to write something up to say that he is banned from
All Blood Bowl, all Warhammer football activities.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering why, just watch a couple videos.
Yeah. It's
By the end of it, it's pretty much someone playing against a pile of salt.
like, yeah, honestly, if you think he's salty playing Age of Sigmar or the other game systems, like,
This salt goes home with him.
yeah, he becomes the salt. So I'm not saying we won't, but it's probably not what you would want it to be.
That's always the fear, right? Okay, we got Ian, Attell, Wild, Josh. Love watching Matt, Steve, and yourself. Why is it mostly we see you play Luka, and can we see more of your guard lists? Your presentation style makes it easy for me to pick up tricks and tips.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy the content. I think especially recently, because over the holiday times, Luke and I were playing a lot because Steve and Dave were both off for extended periods of time. Matt wasn't. Matt was kind of like here and then not here a bunch. So Luke and I were the people available to play, so we played a bunch. The guard, I don't bust out the guard as much because honestly, they're another army that I got to expand. I got to get like another 30 guardsmen.
Okay.
And they're just not high enough on the priority scale right now. Because like I've been aggressively expanding armies for probably close to a year now.
Yes, you have.
And I have spent all my money on it.
Except one of, I should probably stop, but I won't.
Yeah. Honestly, okay, so not gonna get too deep into it, but you know what kind of car I drive?
Oh yeah.
Like that was a much more financially sound decision to buy that than what I have done with my 40K armies.
Fair.
Never mind the fact that I got 30K armies and everything else on the go. Like I look at I look at the money I spent on my car, and I look at the money that I spent on my armies, and I'm like, okay, the car I can resell easier than these armies, and like that.
Yeah.
And I get made fun of for my car, so it's fine. But like,
But I think the other thing is you guys probably see a lot of Luka too because Necrons just came out and Death Guard just came out, and we want to show off the new stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
So like right now, there's a lot of Luka.
yep, that makes sense. All right.
Josh, Ted, will we see more 500-point games? Really enjoyed watching shorter skirmish games.
Maybe once in a while. They did kind of okay, but not that great compared to other stuff. So it's going to be, if we're in, I don't see that being one that's super high on the priority scale. It's probably when we burn out of something else that we might do a couple of those just to kind of liven it up again.
Yeah, it's nice to play a little bit different sometimes, and sometimes, scheduling says we need to get a couple more games filmed in a day than usual.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of why those things happen. We got Russell Taylor. Will we be seeing Cullen and his Skaven in any AOS bat raps in the future? Oh boy, buddy. Maybe. I don't know. Right now, obviously, just got into 40K, learning that stuff. Why did you go back phone? I know, I gotta find it again. But sorry. I forgot where I was.
Skaven.
Rats. So I was building AOS Skaven when they came out. Got some, have a bunch of rats. Just burned out on painting them, to be honest. Like, I've already painted a full fantasy army, and I'm supposed to use circle bases, and I'm not going to rebase my fantasy army, so I got to repaint them. And it just puts me in that big kind of I was painting up some Scryer stuff, and it was going well, and then I started a unit of clan rats, and then I cried, because I've done this before. So obviously, if for whatever reason, we need, I was to play a little bit more, that's the other thing. I will paint up what I am most likely to be playing and stuff. So, if for whatever reason they wanted me to film more 40 or AOS here, or I had a friend who got into it or something, then I would 100% dedicate way more time to painting them. But that's just kind of where that's at now. But I got a bunch of rats that are gray, and I'm not too proud of it. But hey.
Okay, I'll jump in. We'll get these folks answered. There's more than I thought. I mean, this is good. I'm excited for it. It's just I'm on a time crunch because I got a game to film today too. After this.
Yeah, you got to film that. I got a couple things to do as well.
Okay, Ultimate RUL. Hi, Josh. Question and request. Question: if a Xenos army was going to tempt you away from the Imperium of Man, which Xenos faction would it be and why? And can we expect to see it or just a pipe dream? I personally love to see you pick up Xenos army from a variety in the games we see. I play 3 similar armies to you: Knights, Guard, and Death Watch. So not a dig. Yeah. Okay. The simple answer is yeah. I don't know when you're gonna, if or when you will see them. I got Harlequins. That's what it is. It's Harlequins. So, and the reasoning behind them is that they're kind of more. They're just really weird and different from anything else I've got. I mean,
Right.
they're still the kind of more elite play style, but you know, like the fluff of the army, completely different than what I got for other guys. So, and then request, slight contradiction to the above, but please play some Death Watch. It'd be great to see you master this army as you have others. I really enjoyed the 2 matches you played after the new codex came out. It would be super cool to see them going against some stinking orcs. Okay, the thing about Death Watch, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, is I played one recently. I'm just not as excited for them, and I don't know why, because I had so much fun before. And the funny thing is, like, it's a good codex, it's a solid codex, but like, even like before the most recent codex came out, I kind of liked them more. Not entirely sure why. There's just something about the flavor. There's something about new Space Marines in 9th edition, because they're based off that Space Marine codex.
Yeah.
I just can't get excited for them. I don't know why. Like I love the models. Like it's just super cool. Like especially my army. I think I got the coolest Death Watch army in the world because of all the people that have sent me shoulder pads. But I'm like, they're just so bland feeling to play, which they never were before. So I don't know what it is.
I mean, hey, you got to bring 5 Outriders, man. Zoom, zoom.
Yeah, that's cool. But it just feels like, yeah, okay, that's fun, great. But I did play, and I'm gonna be playing them more. I'll find a way to love them. We got Necro Daemon. I'm finally playing my first D&D game, quite some time using Roll20. Excited about it. I'm sure yours are amazing. I'm really looking forward to the next narrative campaign. Sounds like so much fun. So yeah, I think, Matt probably talked a little bit about what we're doing.
Yep.
More army giveaways sound awesome. Should help people get into different armies, which is great. You guys are amazing for doing them. From a business perspective, I'm not going to go super deep into it, but it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you like the idea of creating something to do when you need to do it? Homebrews, house rules can help a lot with that, but yeah, making something specific works better. Struggle with being aggravated. Yeah, so you're replying to Matthew on this one. I'm just seeing if there's anything here you had specific for Cullen or I.
Roll20's cool.
Rapid releases.
I'm sure
codexes.
Matthew mentioned that we play on Roll20 now, and it's fun. It's obviously not the same as D&D in person, but like, hey, that's the only way we can do it right now, and it's still D&D, and we love it.
Okay, we got Mentality. Oh, great and powerful Lord of Cheese, I summon thee. So the reference is actually Luke and Steve were playing, and they were talking about just being like a cheese lord. And I happened to be walking past at that time.
Yep.
And I just popped in like, hello?
No, Josh made me find that clip. He just sent me a timestamp, which is like, oh no, I messed something up, and I go to look at it, and I was like,
Well, because people thought I said a naughty word, but I didn't.
No, he totally didn't. Like, I get where that might be said, but like,
I say a lot of naughty words though. Like, I'm surprised I haven't said a lot on.
Like, if you hear the context, that wouldn't make sense if he said that.
Well,
I mean, like,
I say some pretty dumb stuff sometimes,
that's
but like
fair.
that still is one where it's like, no, that's not the kind of dumb I am. LOL, it's so hard when you did the creepy guy walk. Yeah, because I think at one point, I think it was a different game, but they had the door open, they were playing, and I was watching from like through the doorway, and like they caught me on camera, and like I just like made big eyes, and then like he came back down real quick, and then kind of when it went back, he didn't go to try to find me, but I just wasn't there.
Oh no!
You should make a super robots list and pretend to be that character for a bat rep. No. The robots aren't that bad. I still maintain that. How are things going with home life? Have you and your girl started to go out much yet? It is still locked down here. There's nothing we can do, and it's driving me nuts. Any more thoughts of entry-level pets? Hee hee, I got my kids' sea monkeys. Okay. There's a lot of stuff there.
That was...
Home life is going better, and I'll talk about the pet thing kind of all together on that one. So I did get a dog about, probably a month ago or something. I think we brought him home about a month ago.
Yeah,
But,
maybe.
like, we got approved, so my wife and I adopted a dog named Dozer. He's about 3. He is weird looking. He's 80 pounds. And what we figured for his mix is that we think he's part Shar-Pei,
Okay.
potentially some Boxer and Mastiff.
Yep.
So he's got giant feet. He's got these thick little drumstick legs. He's got a head that is like... I have a really big head. His head is bigger than mine, but I can get my hands around his waist.
But he's a dog.
Yeah. He's an 80-pound dog. So very happy with that. For anybody that wasn't sure, like I lost my Mastiff Matilda back in September, I think. We put her down. She was like 11 or 12. She had been with me for pretty much all of my like proper adult life. And I took that really tough. Things were really bad. Dozer's there, and obviously still miss Matilda as much as I ever did before, but it's nice to have another creature there with you when you're feeling bummed out or whatever else.
100%.
So he's the cutest dog in the world. He's awesome.
I can't wait to meet him one day.
Yeah, you'll like him. He makes snorty pig noises when he smells stuff. Like the most aggressive snorting noises. Like, I don't get it. And, like, we had him in one of the... I don't know. Maybe I'll put pictures on Facebook or something if you remind me to or whatever. Or if you guys want to see them, bug somebody and I'll get pictures of whoever puts stuff on Facebook. We had him in the inflatable cone for a while. And, like, I've never heard a dog snore so much. Like, we thought there was something wrong with him for a while.
Oh, it's so funny.
Now, okay, so if you're talking, now you mentioned entry-level pets. I've talked about this in the past, like ages ago. Entry-level, so my number one favorite entry-level pet, if you're willing to go down that route, is a Crested Gecko. They are easy to take care of. They don't need specialized, they're not the cheapest thing in the world, but they're not uber expensive. They're a gecko that's got sticky feet, so they're easy and fun to handle, good with kids. If they lose their tail, it's not the end of the world. They eat bugs, but you can get powdered food that you just rehydrate. Okay. And they can subsist 100% on that. So if you don't want to deal with bugs, you don't have to with them. They don't need any specialized lighting like bearded dragons, which are much cheaper and usually touted as a good beginner pet, even though bearded dragons are not a good beginner pet in my opinion, compared to Crested Geckos. You got to mist them down every once in a while. You don't need any specialized heat lamps or anything else. Like, they are uber easy to take care of. They're adorable, and they're fun for kids to be able to interact with. I think entry-level pets, Crested Geckos, are some of the best because they're kind of fast, but they're not that fast, and they're idiots. Like, you play the hand game with them, so like he's on your hand, and like it doesn't work 100% of the time, but they usually like wiggle their bum and they move their head in a way so they can figure out where they're jumping because they got to triangulate it. Mm-hmm. So if you ever notice them doing that, you don't want to jump. Like if you just move them around a little bit in your hand, like okay, cool, it throws them off. But you just put your other hand in front and he just jumps to that. Okay. And you just do the hand game. Mm-hmm. They're awesome, but I won't go too much into that. But yeah, Crested Geckos, amazing. Dozer, cutest dog in the world. Weird looking though. Okay. Next, we got Orky Benji. What type of units would you like to see released for KO, or what direction would you like to see the next KO book? Direction for the book is tough. Like, obviously, they're really good right now. The thing that I'm like, I make this model Games Workshop, I want to see a big boat. Okay. Like, I want to see the big boat. Like, they won't be able to make, like, the hugest boats that they have, but, like, I want something Baneblade size at least. Yeah? Give me the big boat. Give me the big boat.
I'm trying to think of like if I don't know. The range is so different that like it just is what it is. Like I don't even know what like more things with balloons. Like you know like
a variety of other balloon guys. Sure. Yeah. But maybe the balloon guys they got already kind of work.
Like, do you want like a dreadnought balloon guy, like a mech suit balloon guy? I don't even know.
Well, there's the engine master in the dirigible suit. So you're talking about bigger than that. Yeah, but then he just becomes a boat.
That's it. You're right. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like a flying dreadnought wouldn't make sense. Like that one doesn't fit for me. But no, so I think the Ironclad right now is shy of 500 points. So if you look at the other factions, big baddies, they're usually 700 points. Like,
I see what you mean.
I want to see the 700 point boat.
You want to see the Archaon boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
I want
yep.
to see the, this is the, you could have it be a named boat for a special character boat if you want.
Yes. Yeah, because you can name. Yeah, that's actually cool. Yeah, I like that. Named boats.
Yeah.
Because boats have names too, not just humans or dwarves or chaos demon people.
Yeah, like I want to see like the Techless boat. Like I want to see, like obviously not based on, like I want to see the one where it's like, yeah, that's the big baddie out of the entire range.
Heck yeah.
Take over.
All right, we're back. Aaron Davis. Always enjoy sit and talks and open vaults. Thank you. I'm gonna. Well, I guess we'll get there. We got Paul Clements. I think you've been asked, but if that's Blood Bowl related. Is there a new season on the horizon? No plans. Colin Stapleton. When will the open vaults restart? And then I'll just Anthony Bodie. Open vaults in all caps.
Dave was away for a little while there.
Yeah.
Like it took a while to get the. Now that everybody's kind of back, because Dave came back for a bit and then had went away again to go do some filming. So probably I'd say in a week or two.
Yeah. No, and just in case like any of these people who are watching like miss it from YouTube, Dave does it in the vault now. There just got to a point where like I was deep in the editing when we were trying to refresh everything, and so Dave took it back over, and it landed back in the vault, and that's so if you're wondering why it's not on YouTube anymore, that's where it is.
Cool. We got Draco Dagger at Josh. I've been in the hobby for a few years, but only playing Space Wolves. So sad. Old Space Wolves were cool. Play 30k Space Wolves. They're super cool.
And Space Wolves are still cool. Don't let the old man tell you down.
Not.
Bark, bark. I'm a dog.
The Wolf Cavalry.
Yeah, man.
No.
I love it.
I'm looking to start a new year, a new army with the AdMech. What are some tips, hints, things to avoid for someone still new to the hobby, new to the AdMech? Okay, so the biggest tip is wait for the book. Just wait for the book.
Yep.
Buy the models buy the models and start with the models that you will enjoy having and using no matter how good or bad the rules get, and then wait for the book.
Yeah, no, like if that's a big aspect of it, yeah, and you're not just doing it because you want to paint them or you want to own them because you like them, then wait for everything. Like obviously there's the safer bets, which is like getting your troops choices. But again, you don't know if one is just going to end up being significantly worse than another because they have the Cataphrons and the Rangers, right? Or the Vanguard, like those are the two kits, right?
The Vanguard and the Rangers, then you got the Cataphron, Breachers, and Destroyers for troop choices, for standard troop choices.
Right. So like, if can you like magnetize the Cataphrons?
We don't have the magnetized, but probably you could get away with
Like
it.
I'm trying to think of like, is it more than just a gun? Because I'm not.
I think technically they have different chess pieces, but like not enough
Okay.
that anybody would care and or notice. Like the weapons are what makes them different.
Yeah, and then with the Rangers and Vanguard, that's a little tougher because you're dealing with scrawny arms and heads and stuff. So that one's a little tougher. But yeah, troop choices are a good place to start.
Yeah. We got Duza Kazal at Josh. Praise be to the power of the beard. Praise be. Now, with that out of the way, one question I've noticed with the Warhammer Fantasy / Age of Sigmar, such as your Ogre Orcs game with Steve recently, how come it's much more noticeable, frequent that there's games that would be over round 2 Warhammer Fantasy AOS, but rarely happens in 40k? Just something that had me thinking. Perhaps it's just the way the game turns out. MiniWarGaming it's comparably rare to have a turn 2 or 3 clear victory in 40k compared to the fantasy game. I'm not sure why that is. Your thoughts? Thanks to you all at MiniWarGaming. Stay cool, stay groovy, and glory to the beards. The knee-jerk reaction is probably we care about it more in 40k, so we are trying very hard to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yep.
We don't like when that happens, and generally the 40k community is less tolerant of games that end quickly.
Yeah,
than
no.
other communities.
And like I think that you're talking about 40k that is a shooting objective game, and AOS, well, fantasy wasn't an objective game, so that's different in its own right. But
Yep.
they're melee games, so you kind of end up with like posture, fight, and then if that fight ends quickly, well, then that's kind of the game. But 40k, there's the shooting, there's the build up to the melee, and it's not the main focus of the game.
Yeah.
And because that's fantasy, right? Like you posture, and yeah, there are occasional games where like things go prolonged, and you get some nice flank side charges in the beginning. But for the most part, like you build up at least in 8th edition fantasy, to your horde fighting the horde. Just turn 3 or 4, they should get the charge off, and then the game just happens.
Ogre turn 2.
And that's the thing, yeah, you're ogres, you're a fast army. Well, then the whole thing is to get there quicker than they can have time to shoot you and magic you.
Yep.
So that's just the way that kind of plays. And again, same with AOS, right? Like you get the Slanesh and the...
Well, with AOS, I think part of the AOS thing that it can end early sometimes is the initiative mechanic, the double turn.
That's the big one for... That's what I would say, like, the difference of, like, fantasy, because it's literally a rank and flank, and, like, if you get flanked, oh boy, that could spend the end, like, that could be the end of the game. And fantasy has the magic phases that could win or lose you the game. AOS has the turn initiative that could win or lose you the game. Yeah. 40K, yeah, there's objective things and things like that, but I find with the higher points of everything these days, like you get a lot closer and you want to see the game go on because you still could get a couple points at the end of the game and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That makes sense. Next question. At Josh. Hi, Josh. Fellow Astra Militarum, you're a guard player, son. Once the new 9th edition codex comes out, what do you want to see in 9th edition codex for guard? Updated regiment rules, new Rough Riders, even a small incentive to take Voxcasters. What's your hope for the next update? Honestly, this is one, like, I've had a bit of a conversation with the guys about it. I'm actively not thinking about, the codexes for, like, my knights, my custodies, and my guard, like all that kind of stuff, because there's a part of me that worries that they'll come out with a very solid codex that for whatever reason just kind of is... I just don't enjoy playing as much like the Death Watch right now. Mm-hmm. So I think, the guard, what would I want to see? Just honestly, the minor tweaks. Update the regiment rules so they make sense. Get rid of Vengeance for Cadia. Balance out the stratagems a bit, but don't mess with it all too much because I'm kind of happy with where it is right now.
Yeah, and hopefully, like, at least what it kind of seems like going forward is they're trying to, like, make everything even. So, like, if they continue with that trend, that would be cool. Not making anything redonkulously powerful like it used to be.
It doesn't need to be powerful. It's just going to be different. I want them to feel distinct and different than anything else. And as long as they do that, I'll be happy. Also, why do you hate Meridians, Games Workshop?
Yeah, there's the other ones are so cool.
Like, I realize why they made the changes, but I mean, like...
Yeah. Come on, get on it.
Okay, we got Dern Axe at Josh. I've been asking the video comment section for years. I saw them on Luka's Hornheim End Times campaign. It's that gray gargant with the big skull thing on his shoulder. And where is it from? I want to say it's one of the French companies.
I literally have no idea.
It's not Forge World.
I don't know where we got it. I don't know when I know, like, Lee painted it, but, like, I don't know where it came from, why we have it, who got it. It's a mystery. Yeah.
If you, honestly, I don't know off the top of my head, but if you email me, josh@miniwargaming.com, I can find him. I'll look it up. We got Catfish, Beard Boy, and Rat Rascal. Has that caught on yet?
Love that.
Anyway, a couple of questions. Colin, can we get some Age of Sigmar Skaven bat reps? I find your bat reps the most enjoyable, and Josh is a close second. Oh, you got weird taste, Catfish.
Yeah, man. Like, I'm in, like, 6 bat reps. What's up with that? No, again, like, to be honest, if I was to play, I'd have to learn again. That's the big thing. I've been out of it for a while, and the studio does have a decent collection that I could use, but it's literally just, where do I have time when I edit all day?
Yeah. Josh, care to share any updates to your wife's army? I know a while back talked briefly about it. Yeah, I think I talked about it earlier. We don't have days off together, so we haven't been able to do anything. So I need to have a conversation with her, and we're going to figure out what we're going to do with it. Also, Stout season, Ben. I'll read the rest of it. The beers coming out lately have been amazing. Cheers, friendos. And also, I was saying boo earns. So, I don't think I've had a beer in almost forever. Not because I'm trying to actively avoid it. It's just, it's depressing not being able to hang out with anybody else. So, honestly, all I've been drinking is scotch. Like, I'm getting to be more and more of an old man. And it's just scotch.
I don't care about stout season. I'm sad sour season is over because that was a blast. I love me, and I get it that it's the new. Honestly, like I've always enjoyed like sour candies, like lemon flavored things and that. So like the first time I had one, I was like, oh, what is this? Oh, what is this? And then we just got hit with like this amazing past summer as their popularity was up, and like they have just been some of the Ontario breweries and such. I've just been like releasing some amazing ones, and so like the fact that I can't go to the store and be like, I want to try this one and this one, it's just like, here's the normal ones. Cry, there's nothing new.
I could never get into sours.
I've never tried one until like maybe a year ago, and then it was just like, heck yes, this is what I enjoy. Give me the sourest boy.
Not that long, well, a little while, when I got my new computer, Luka built it for me. And to say thanks, I said I was going to buy him booze. And I don't know why I felt the need to, but I'm like, you know what, we're going to get you into scotch. We're going to get you into... So I got him some Monkey Shoulder, which is, I think, probably...
What a wonderful name, if anything.
There's a whole history behind it I'm not going to get into, but it actually makes a lot of sense when you get into it. Yeah, I don't know why I like scotch so much. I think I am just rapidly aging. Every day I exist, I age 3 days. But I've been an old man since I was 17, so it's okay. Next up, we got Mylan at JCall. Josh, I stumbled across some of your first video appearances the other day. You were such a little beardling back in the day. Oh, that's many, many moons ago. So I think, okay, so if you want to go and find the earliest video evidence of me existing...
on video, on the internet.
I don't even know if it's because I don't know if the MiniWarGaming ones I was in exist way back in the day for like the first War Machine season.
League, right?
But you can go on Chris's channel. You can go on his Way of the Brush channel, and he's got battle reports there. And there's 2 that I was in with him for his channel. And I can't remember which one's the older one. But I got 2 different, probably, think of it back, I got 2 different facial beard styles. Like if you want to see different stuff, that's your best bet. Because at least one, I'm pretty sure I got a goatee. I played, I can't remember the names of the factions. Retribution of Syra. And then another one is whatever the druid type faction was. I can't remember the name of them. They had the wolves. I played...
Ouroboros?
Yeah, Circle. I played Circle. So if you find those old videos, Chris Price still has them up. That's probably the earliest video evidence of Josh you're going to find.
Bonus points if you find like a video of me back when I was a co-op student.
Yo, and you get the earrings and all that?
Probably, man. Like that was, I think I was probably like 18, 19 is probably like the earliest you can see me. So like, he thinks it's bad that he's early 20s. I was like 18, 19. So I think you'd have to look because I'm not even sure. There's probably a video that I was in when I was a co-op student, but yeah, man.
I'm sure if you find those old videos of me, you're gonna look. That's such a young-looking old man. We got Demon Arrows at Joe Cullen at Kolosh. Any chance of a blooper video? Must be so much hilarious stuff that happens off camera.
Well, that's it.
Okay, go ahead.
I would say that that's exactly it. It does happen off camera, which means they're not rolling.
Yeah.
So most of those like great kind of things, I think, you might get like the beginning of, and then the camera would cut, and then the rest of the joke would continue. It's just with the way that we edit things, like all that kind of stuff is more time for me personally, and like I gotta do at least 2 videos a day because that's what comes out, at least to keep up. So it just doesn't really fit in, but like there's been moments, right? We've tried before and things, and
there's some of that stuff when something kind of silly comes up, but it's not so much a blooper. Like it's usually the person intentionally doing something. It's because we don't have a separate cameraman.
That's it, right? It's they're filming, and obviously, like if you know or you say or you know that something dumb is gonna happen that is in relation to you, it's often, at least like before you get decently comfortable on camera, which let's be honest, the best bloopers happen when you're not comfortable, but you're just gonna cut the camera. Yeah. So it kind of like negates some of the ability of like ridiculous, silly things because you can just cut the camera yourself. which I think, again, is what most people would do, right?
Yeah. So if we had the clips, we release them. We just don't.
It just doesn't fit into the style in which we film, unfortunately.
All right. We got Raging Yabo. Hi, Josh and Cullen. Josh asked Matt a similar question in the previous sit and talk, but I must have got the question in too late. Any plans to make a more discussion-based series like Fixing Age of Sigmar? MiniWarGaming often has terrific discussions on many aspects of each game and the hobby in its entirety. However, the conversation will be in a post-game chat or open vault, making it hard to go back and revisit interesting points or just some good old banter. Hope you both have a good day, and of course, happy wargaming. There's no plans for it. So I look at the Fixing Age of Sigmar series, and that was like, I think that was Matt's attempt. And
I don't even think that was ever...
It was a discussion series, but like it was his attempt to have a clickbait title and just to see what would happen.
Yeah, no.
And then they discussed actually, here's what's good about the game, what's bad about the game, and they gave their thoughts on it. And a lot of people reacted just to the title and didn't actually pay attention to anything that they said.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like it was obviously an experiment, and I don't think there was any plans on making that necessarily a part of what we do. But it was an interesting thing, and obviously there's obviously a market for it, but there's also a lot of other people that kind of do similar things out there.
Yeah, I mean, like, I will be very jokingly narcissistic and all that other kind of stuff, but I'm not interested in creating a series to put out my thoughts on stuff, but I'm more than happy to share them with people. So, like, if you guys want to hear stuff like that, there's a lot of awesome people doing podcasts, and I can talk about me personally because I don't know about the rest of the guys here, because I don't think we're going to do discussion series, because we do the sit and talks and post games is probably what the rate speed for MiniWarGaming. But yeah, I mean, I'm more than willing to be on people's podcasts if they want to hear me ramble and rant and talk about whatever. So if there's anybody out there that produces podcasts, or you got a favorite podcast that you listen to, that you think that the person that hosts that would be interested in having me on, I don't know, get in touch. Don't be shy. I'll ramble about whatever you want me to ramble on, but it's probably not going to be on my own show, because
yeah, no, and it's just and again, it's just one of those things of like, it's just time and manpower, and though those things only take an hour to film versus a battle report, those things require a lot of prep and upkeep.
Yeah.
And so that's not a full-time job, obviously, but that would be a portion of somebody's job, and everyone's already busy 4 to 5 days a week.
The film schedule's tight, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
We got Clark. Hey, Josh, love the bat reps. Some of them have me howling in my office. Luckily that I'm on my own here at the moment. Great to see people playing just for the fun of it. Well, you know what? It's what I do, so I know a lot of people out there that don't enjoy it, but I know some people do, so I figured I'm going to be me. For the people that like it, cool, you're awesome. For the people that don't, you're less awesome, but, that's fine. You don't have to.
To each their own, right?
Pretty much. We got a variety of different people making content, so I'm just going to kind of do that. My question now that I'm, not that I'm fussed, but because I don't like the army, but why no Tau? So in this one, both Cullen and Matt have expressed interest in Tau. I was very into Tau back in 4th edition. Since then, I don't love the direction that they've went. I find them kind of boring. I might pick them up again if you guys don't actually start doing it. Like, I realize you, because of whatever, and Matt, maybe.
It's literally like, I would honestly love to start it, and like the more you guys talk about it, the more obviously there's some more of a want for me to do it. But like, I have now a new pile of Space Marines, and like, I don't need another pile of Grey Armies in my closet, so like, I need to get those done first, and that has gotten out of hand, obviously way too quick. So like,
it's gonna get worse.
Like, I know, right? Heavy intercessors, stop it. Stop
they gotta
it.
come out of. Well, that's the thing, is that they gotta come out eventually.
Yeah, I know. And it's,
Okay.
throw the money at it.
So last one here on the MiniWarGaming website. You guys are awesome. You left a lot. I'm really glad you left a lot, but like I said, I can't have this be it's gonna be a 2-hour video. Can't get away from it. And somebody's game went late today, but I'm not gonna point fingers. Hi Josh, so glad to see you guys doing so much horse racing and old fancy over the last month. I wanted to say thanks to you and the staff for pushing these games. They may not be as mainstream, but I find them really fun to watch. I can say for myself personally, I like fantasy, but like, I only play one army. I got another army, but it's one that's back burner. So like, I burn out of it really quick. I keep playing, but I know like, I'm confident saying that everybody that works here tires of playing against the ogres very quickly. I don't think anybody's like, yeah, I get to play the ogres today. Woo! The thing is, I get that. So I'm not like, oh, I wish I could play more fan. I play like once or twice. Like when Cullen chooses to acknowledge that I actually play fantasy instead of pretending I don't exist. I get my
Savage.
game, and then it's true. It's true. Do you ever have the conversation with Max in the store a while ago? Because you were talking. This is like early on. You were talking about all the people that play because he was kind of trying to get into it, and I was literally sitting in the store. This was like 2 years ago.
That is fair. Yeah,
and
I
I'm
remember this now.
Yo, I play too. Like Josh has a fantasy army, and Josh loves playing fantasy. And Cullen looked over, and then just went back to talking, and I'm like, whatever.
You had rebased it to circles, and I was a salty boy.
Yeah, but I still have nice-looking movement trays.
If they're ogres, I pretend they're not an army. Not that they're not Josh's army, I pretend they're not an army in the game.
That's fair. And then by extension, I don't exist.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair. So it's a lot of fun. Horse Heresy, like, I don't know, like if I had to literally fight somebody to be able to keep Heresy going, I probably would.
That could be its own video series, by the way.
Yeah.
Josh fighting people for more Horse Heresy content.
It'd be like South Park making fun of, I think, Russell Crowe, like the fighting around the world.
Yep.
Just me going around fighting people so I can play a toy soldier game. The question is, curious, Enemy Unknown Zone Mortalis might play out in 9th edition 40k rules. Do you think it would be an interesting game to play? Scions versus Genestealer Cult. I think it may be a mission type that could let the weaker armies like Genestealer Cult flex the strength of ambushing a bit more in a confined space. I think, honestly, you could do a lot of cool things with it, but you got to be selective of the armies. So that's one of those things that when we're kind of burnt out of this or that I'm probably going to suggest, like, let's try this. Mm-hmm. So that was the same talking about the 500-point games. Like, we'll probably do it. It's just not super high on my priority scale of things like this must happen. If somebody else got excited for it, I'd be down in a heartbeat, though. I really like Enemy Unknown.
It always seems like a very interesting concept. Though, like, isn't that... I'm not super... Never played against Genestealers, so I'm not really sure, or never read the book or anything. But isn't that kind of like how they play most games? So
That's
like,
kind of their shtick for the beginning, but this kind of continues on for a little bit longer.
Okay. Because I would be like, doesn't that just like almost take away from that portion because everyone gets to do that
well,
in a way?
There's reason... No.
Okay.
No.
That would be like my first thought.
It'd be different for them, but probably be
Cool.
good. Okay, let's get the Facebook questions.
They're done.
Oh, they're done? Okay.
We done.
So we got a little bit of YouTube. Jensen Quinn, hail all. Hail.
What's up?
JP Golo. Excellent. Got a question. I'm happy with the hearing those intentions for the upcoming narratives. Question for Josh. Some reason my 8-year-old daughter keeps poking me and wanting to ask you to do a Wookiee call next time you do a sit and talk. So to keep her happy, I'm asking. That and she loves your beard for some reason, makes her giggle. So that was the weird thing is that I used to teach swim lessons. Like I did that for like 7 or 8 years, and I had not quite this long of a beard, but I had a big beard the entire time. Kids loved it.
Or we're terrified?
Generally speaking, no.
Okay.
And I found that little girls typically weren't scared of me at all. Little boys, sometimes.
Okay.
Only if their dad never had a beard.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know how to do it. Do you know how to do a Wookiee noise?
That's the best I got. I'm sorry. I wish I could. It's at the behest of a child, and you wish you could. There you go.
Oh, it was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. Nope, that was even worse.
Sounds like a dying Wookiee.
Yeah. That Wookiee went to Taco Bell.
Oh, no.
Just 2 in the morning. Well, hopefully, daughter of JP Golo, I don't know who you are, but hopefully that entertained you and did not terrify you.
Entertained me, so thank you.
We got Thomas Saxon. Hey, Josh. Question's a little odd, honestly. It's probably not the weirdest one I've ever gotten. But are you primarily a management behind-the-scenes person this day or a content producer? Also, if I may ask, what would you be your ideal new army to start in any game system MiniWarGaming currently covers? I believe Wood Elves for Fantasy was a thing at one point. Yeah, it was super tough to get the models. Like, if somebody has Wood Elf models out there, especially like new on sprue or unpainted, get in touch, because I shouldn't buy more stuff. But I will. I will, because they're so tough to get a hold of now. Like, they've been out of print for so long,
right.
and they weren't a super popular army in the first place. And I know I've kind of waffled, because some people have shown me stuff, and I'm like, it's just, I want to find the perfect collection of this is exactly what I want in one spot, done. Because if you want to buy ogres, they're the easiest army to buy. Because not only are they still producing them, but even if they stopped, everybody's got ogre armies from Fantasy. Nobody's got Wood Elves.
Because that was the easiest army to collect at the time, and so everyone had a buttload of them.
Well, like, I think quite legitimately, if you got a start collecting box back in the day,
like one of their battalion boxes?
Yeah. I think that was like a 1,500 point army, or potentially if you converted a guy to be a whatever. I think that was like a 2,000 point army. Like, that's all you needed. Okay, so am I primarily a management / behind the scenes person this day, or a content producer? The answer is yes. My responsibilities haven't changed, but I film a lot more stuff because the hotel part's closed down. But yeah, so I still do. I don't know. I do a bunch of stuff. Think of all of the tasks that are involved with running a company that aren't fun, and chances are I do a decent portion of them. Mm-hmm. But I enjoy them. Like, it's not like I don't dislike doing it, but they're not the fun, flashy, exciting things.
Everyone's got the part of the job that they enjoy the most, and they don't enjoy the most. But playing is usually a highlight, I assume.
Definitely, but playing's always fun.
So when everything else is compared to that, it just kind of feels blah.
Yeah. So, like, I think, when I wasn't playing, like, I was super bummed out I wasn't playing. And I feel like there's at least more than a couple of people that watch and, enjoy the content that I make that were kind of bummed out. And then there are some people that were happy I wasn't creating content, and those are specifically the people that don't like me but feel the need to watch my stuff anyways.
And yeah, I didn't like watching this on every single video.
I hate this guy. I'm like, but you see, I'm standing there in the beginning of the video, and like it's got my name. Like, I'm sorry, it's not like I put like Cullen there and then like walked in like surprise, it's me.
Exactly. Yeah, we put a false like a different person, and then it's just your voice over top of it. Just to get you.
I don't actually mind those people at all. I'm entertained by them. I don't get it.
Oh yeah.
Last question here. We got Derek 147900. I'm sure this has been answered before, as I found out you guys moved this channel for vlogs. Why no Eldar armies? Does it just happen that no one plays them, or another reason? Bat reps provide a good learning tool for what it seems like your battle reports provide a great learning tool for what seems like some very versatile factions. Okay, so the Eldar, I'll go through them real quick. Steve was the only one here that was ever interested in Eldar.
Yep.
He played both Dark Eldar, and he played Craftworld. The Craftworld army he sold to the studio was the orange one, because he just wasn't having fun with it anymore. And there's been like no new models, so he hasn't redone that army. I'm sure if Games Workshop finally remembers that, those models are all older than most of the people playing the game, and they update them, Steve will probably start it up again. Dark Eldar, he stopped having fun just with the playstyle back in 7th, I think. 7th or early 8th. But
I think it's like early 8th? He was still playing them?
He sold that army to the studio and hasn't been interested in touching it, because I think that army got beat up worse than anything else when we moved.
It's also one of the spiky, like it is a fragile army to begin with.
Yep.
And with the amount we play with stuff and things get put in boxes and stored, and like it's obviously not like the nicest way, but it's the most efficient way. But so the more fragile models tend to take more damage, and when it's a whole army of specifically very fragile things, yeah.
And then Harlequins. I don't love the studio stuff. I don't love the shape it's in. I don't love the build of it. I don't love the paint job. And it's honestly saying it out loud, that's poor reasons not to play it. So maybe I will. I can't say for sure. But I've got some stuff that was supposed to be a project that my wife and I could work on together and enjoy the hobby. But then we realized we don't actually have days off together. She works as a chef. So even like when she comes home from work, it's not like she has a ton of energy and didn't
100%.
work her butt off. Like, She works way harder than I do.
What are her hours?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, there's the part of me that like when I was younger is like I do thoroughly enjoy cooking and baking and stuff, but other than the fact that I am the sweatiest human, well, okay, maybe not the sweatiest human, but like I am for sure up there.
You're one of the sweatiest people here.
Yeah, yeah. I sweat sitting, like it's ridiculous. So like if you put me in a hot, like everyone's food would never need to be salted because I would sweat. Like that is just as awful. Like it's horrendous.
I'm never going to a Cullen barbecue.
Okay, I don't do that into like my own food, but like I imagine
Could you
kitchen.
cook barbecue and not get sweat all over everything?
Yeah, but like I could do that for like barbecuing, like for like an hour. But like if you had to put me in there for 6 hours,
obviously it'd be worse. But
by the end of no, I could.
If we put you out in the sun in the middle of summer and you're barbecuing,
I would have to wear a sweatband. Let's be honest. Okay. A hat. I don't wear hats.
So if I go to a Cullen barbecue, he's gotta wear a sweatband. That's fair.
But yeah, the hours are not great if you want to like be a social person.
Yeah, yeah, and I work a standard 9 to 5.
That's the thing. If both people tend to work the odder hours, it can work. But if one person's 9 to 5 and the other person's 2 to late or whatever, definitely makes it a little tougher with no weekends off and.
Well, hopefully you folks enjoyed this. I know we kind of rushed through part of that, and luckily we only went like an hour over, I think.
Oh no, I apologize to both Josh and Luka because I don't know. I guess I just enjoyed being out of the house. So thank you guys for allowing me to come in and do something.
It's true. I'll schedule something for you eventually again.
Beautiful.
So again, thanks so much to everybody that left questions. If you didn't leave questions, we wouldn't have anything to talk about. And I don't know, these are always fun. It's a fun way to interact with interact to a degree with the community as a whole, and helps keep me online with what it is we want to be doing. But honestly, like I do my best to answer emails whenever I can. Like if you ever want to get a hold of me for whatever reason, just josh@miniwargaming.com. And I'm always down to talk about hobby stuff, whatever else, and open to hearing people's suggestions on anything. So
beautiful.
Remember that next week is Luka. You must summon Luka to the comment section here. I will let you decide how you choose to summon him to the comment section.
Oh, wonderful, great Luka. We have summoned the fourth.
We have summoned you from the second floor. He hates that. Happy wargaming. Thanks for tuning in.
See ya.
Keep being awesome.